Let me rewind a little. About 3 years ago, I met a woman named Sarah. She was the kind of quiet that makes you curious. You know how some people walk into a room and you just feel them? She was the opposite. She would walk in, and the room would get calmer, softer. I was a mess back then. I was working a job I hated, driving a car that smelled like old coffee, and honestly, I thought love was just something that happened in movies. But with Sarah, things were different. We dated for 2 years. It wasn't perfect. We fought about money. We fought about her cat. We fought about why I can never put the laundry away. But through all of that, there was this one thing I always felt. Safety. She made me feel like I wasn't a failure. Like I was enough. So, I decided to propose. I saved up for 3 months. I bought a ring that cost more than my first car. I planned this whole night at the spot where we had our first kiss, a crappy little park bench near a pizza shop. It wasn't fancy, but it was ours. I got down on one knee. My hands were shaking. I gave this big speech about forever, about growing old, about how she fixed every broken part of me. And she looked at me with those big eyes, and she said yes. The crowd clapped. A guy walking his dog took a picture. It was perfect. But that night, we were lying in bed. The ring was on her finger. And I asked her a stupid question. I asked, why? Why did you really say yes? I expected her to say, because I love you. Or because you're my soulmate. Something warm and fuzzy that I could put in a wedding speech. She turned over. She looked at the ceiling. And she said, because you were the only one who didn't want to fix me. That was the moment. That was the sentence. Because you were the only one who didn't want to fix me. I didn't get it at first. I thought she was insulting me. Like, wait a minute. I thought love was about growing together. I thought a good partner was supposed to help you be better, lift you up, fix your bad habits. I almost got angry. I said, what do you mean? I try to help you all the time. I told you to go to therapy. I told you to talk to your mom. How is that not trying to fix you? And she smiled. But it was a sad smile. She said, exactly. Everyone else tried to fix me. My dad tried to fix my career. My ex tried to fix my attitude. My best friend tries to fix my love life. But you just sat in the mess with me. You didn't tell me to stop crying. You just handed me a tissue. That hit me like a truck. Because she was right. For 2 years, I never once told her to change. When she was sad, I didn't give her advice. I just ordered her pizza and put on a bad movie. When she messed up at work, I didn't tell her what to do next. I just said, that stinks. Wanna go for a walk? This is where the script gets real. Because what she said forced me to look at everything. I thought I knew about relationships. We grow up thinking love is a construction project. You find someone, and then you start remodeling them. You sand down their rough edges. You paint over their sad parts. You add a new shelf for their hobbies. But Sarah didn't want a contractor. She wanted a witness. I started researching this because it bugged me so much. There is actually a study from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology that looked at thousands of couples over 10 years. You want to know what the #1 predictor of a long, happy relationship was? It wasn't communication skills. It wasn't similar interests. It wasn't even good sex. It was something called perceived partner responsiveness. That is a fancy way of saying, do you feel like your partner really sees you? Not the perfect version of you. The messy, tired, grumpy, real you. Think about that. Most of us walk around wearing a mask. At work, you are the professional. With your parents, you are the good kid. With your friends, you are the fun one. But when you come home at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday, and you haven't showered, and you're grumpy for no reason, who sees that person? If your partner tries to fix you in that moment, they are basically saying, the person you are right now is broken. Be someone else. But if they just sit down next to you and don't say anything, that is the loudest I love you in the world. I remembered a night 6 months before the proposal. I lost my job. I didn't tell anyone. I just came home, sat on the floor in the hallway, and put my head in my hands. Sarah found me there. She didn't say, "It will be okay." She didn't say, "Let's update your resume." She sat down on the floor next to me. She leaned her head on my shoulder. And we sat there for an hour, in silence. That was it. That was the moment she decided I was the one. Not the fancy dates. Not the flowers. The silence on the dirty hallway floor. So back to that night after the proposal. I finally understood. I said, "So you didn't say yes because of the ring? Or the speech?" She laughed. "No. I said yes because when I told you I was scared of getting married, you didn't try to convince me I was wrong. You just said, 'Me too. But I'm more scared of doing it with anyone else.'" That broke me. In a good way. I realized that for 2 years, I had been doing the hardest thing in the world. I had been doing nothing. And that nothing was actually everything. Most guys are taught that love is a fight. You have to win the girl. You have to buy the right thing. Say the right line. Be the alpha. Be the provider. Be the rock. But Sarah didn't need a rock. Rocks are hard and cold. She needed a blanket. Something soft that just covers her when she's cold. I asked her, "So you love me because I'm lazy?" She said, "No. I love you because you don't panic when I'm broken. You just sit there. And after a while, I realize I'm not broken anymore. I'm just human." There is a famous psychologist named Carl Rogers. He said something that stuck with me. The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change. Sarah was telling me the same thing. She wasn't saying she wants to stay sad forever. She was saying that she can only get better if someone lets her be sad first. Here is what I learned. And I want you to really hear this because it took me 3 years and a scary conversation on an engagement night to figure it out. We spend so much time trying to be the perfect partner. We try to be rich enough, fit enough, funny enough. We think love is a checklist. But it's not. Love is a chair. You don't notice a good chair. You just sit in it. It holds you up. It doesn't poke you. It doesn't try to change your posture. It just holds you. Sarah said yes because I was her chair. Not her teacher. Not her boss. Not her therapist. Just her chair. If you are watching this and you are in a relationship, ask yourself this hard question. Does your partner feel fixed by you? Or do they feel felt by you? Because one of those leads to a breakup, and the other leads to a wedding night where you both fall asleep at 9 p.m. because you're too tired to argue about the laundry. And if you are single, stop looking for someone to complete you. That is a myth. Look for someone who can sit in the dark with you without turning on the light. Look for someone who doesn't flinch when you fall apart. That is the real reason she said yes. Not because I was the best man, but because I was the realest one. And in a world full of people trying to sell you a perfect life, just being real is the rarest thing you can give someone.